All right, Shalom. Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to start off giving all praises, all blessings to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the elect, pushing this word in all truth and in sincerity, risking life and livelihood in so doing, especially in these days and times. Um, Shalom to the women and children um, who watch and who learn. All right. And so, oh man, there's a lot going on spiritually. Um, you should have your spiritual thinking cap on. All right. In these times. And, try not to get, uh, you know, caught up too much with the obvious. All right. The prophecies are still moving forward, and they're moving ahead. And a lot of individuals will be sidetracked. And if hey, um, you know, if you do, all right, because there's a lot in this kingdom going on, and that's why there's an urge and a urgency for us to yearning to get up out of here. All right. But we're almost out, and um there's a lot of promising things happening, but just keep pushing forward in this truth. All right. um you know um these you know and the spirit of betrayal, all right, is about to more and more is about to show its face, um just like Judas uh betrayed the Lord. All right. um the 2/3, uh it's ultimately set up for them to uh, betray you. We will be betrayed. All right. And there has been a lot of things going down right now. um I've had some situations at work, all right, that were very, you know, very clearly, uh, you know, like I said, I've had, my life, an attempt on my life at work, all right. Um, but through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, I was, um, I was not harmed, okay, and even after that attempt, uh, you know, uh, it's like my job did something shady, in which, hey, um, my thing is this, I don't need that job, okay, nor any other job, through the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, all right. The Lord will, at one point in time, I used to have that uncertainty, all right. But the Lord showed me, during the whole COVID um, thing that, you know, that I would be, okay. All right. And so, seeing that, all right, um, seeing that was a booster for me. Okay. You know, and, I just share my experiences, with others. All right. Nonetheless. All right. You know, so, um, and I'm, but, because I don't want to really miss the point, because, when the Lord does something, it's all important. Okay. It's nothing, none of the least of that experience is, not important. So, that the testimony is important to share. All right. Which I'm doing. All right. So if I say, if I'm saying something, hey, listen, I got a lot of stuff to do. I don't have time or the need to, make things up or anything. All right. I'm not going, I'm not that person. All right. But with that being said, uh, you know, um, just keep, the Lord has you. All right. And you know, um, Jake, 2/3 of our people, all right, they are at, at the, Esau is pretty much using them as puppets. All right. These other Israelite groups who don't want to call on the name of Yahweh, why Yahweh Shai. All right. I remember coming into the truth now, I didn't, I never, and I knew that I was an Israelite. So, you know, the name, the name was a little sketchy. All right. Um, because, from my understanding of an Israelite, all right, before the apostles, the name of the Lord was, uh, you know, Yahweh. All right. And, you know, without at that time, not know, we come out of the, we didn't know. So it was necessary that the Lord brought us out of that darkness. But, calling on the name, Yahweh and, Yehoshua, all right. Um, we didn't know, all right. And so I remember, we used to always, ask the elders, the apostles, what was the name of the Lord, even, and they would, teach, during their lessons or whatever, over the comment board, and this is before, before the camps, you know, started forming. And, when I heard the name of Yahweh Shai and Yahweh, all right, it was, it was it was a relief, at that time it was a relief, okay. And to be honest, all right, and this is a testimony, all right, um it's been uh uphill, all right, pretty much uphill spiritually, um in knowing those names. And there comes a lot with, and listen, this is the spirit, because I didn't even want to go into the name issue, but this is just a testimony. All right. Um, um, let me get a scripture. See, I didn't even have no scriptures. I wasn't even thinking about scriptures for this lesson, but hey, uh, let me see. Now I gotta get some scriptures. All right, this is First Corinthians 11 and 27. All right, and it says, um, maybe I should start up a little bit. Let me see. Let me go to it. All right. All right. So start at 25. It says, in the same way, after supper, he took the cup, saying, all right, this cup is the cup. This cup is the new covenant in my blood. All right. Do this as often as you drink it. All right. In remembrance of me. All right. And, calling on the name of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Racha HaKodash. All right. Um, hey, that is symbolic, okay, of this cup, man. All right. All right. It's symbolic because when you call on that name, and think on that name, automatically the laws come to you. All right. And if you're calling on that name, the laws are coming to you, man. All right. You're remembering the laws, the statutes, the commandments. All of that is coming to you. All right. As long as that name is in your memory. Okay. It says, for as often as you eat this bread and drink this cup, okay, you proclaim the Lord's death until you proclaim Salakia. You proclaim the Lord's death until he comes. Okay, and that's why you can't be calling on any other name. All right, can't be calling on Jesus or Christ or any of those other names, man. Even a lot of people into Islam, they really feel that, because a lot of them they do read the Bible as well, and but still they are calling on Allah, and they may be people who but you have to call on Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, because by calling on those names, things are going to happen. Okay, the Lord is going to put you through things. He's going. You're going to. You're going to be all right. As the scripture said, you're going to be tested in the roughly paraphrasing the scripture, in the flame, or the what is it, the flame, the furnace of adversity. All right, you're going to be tried for calling on those names. People know that you're calling on the name of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. All right, and it's not favorable. It's not favorable for you that you're calling on these names, and that's why I believe. I really don't believe that this guy uh, Nate sold out. Okay, I mean, he sold out, but I don't believe that. Uh, they gave him a lot of money. I believe that he stopped calling on the name of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, because now I don't have proof that this is what's going on, but this is what I believe. Okay, it's because you're tested, you're tried, and it eats on you. It eats on you, man. Eats on your conscience. I heard, I saw the video of Nathaniel. All right, breaking down. We broke down the name, man. Okay, and then for them to say Ebonics, that came uh with that measure, man. Okay, uh, you know, and other things uh were happening that he couldn't take, and that's the thing. Not only with him, but with a lot of individuals, things go on that individuals they can't take. All right, you see, all right. Even when listen, I've been you know sitting all day doing nothing. Okay, no phone calls. All right, and as soon as I start doing a lesson, then phone calls come through. See, so hey, the name is very spiritual, man. Okay, the name is very spiritual. Reading on this verse 27, it says, "Therefore, whoever, okay, therefore whoever eats the bread or drinks the cup of the Lord in an unworthy manner will be guilty of sinning against the body and blood of the Lord." And that's what a lot of these individuals are doing. Okay? Those who call on Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, and you know, they get outed. You have individuals who calling on Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, and they're straight out eating pork. It's not because they want to just straight out and eat pork. It looks dumb. You are an Israelite eating pork. That's dumb. No one does that. But see, they're trapped. Okay, they're trapped. Um, Nate. So he wants to call on Jesus and Christ. Okay, to avoid. Okay, to try. And he wants to do that with his congregation to try and avoid what goes on. And things happen, man. People are outed. All right, people are outed, and things happen. Okay, so that name Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakha HaKodash, those names are powerful. They're spiritual. All right, they're very spiritual, and and it's very deep. All right. Um, Let me see. Let me get a scripture. Okay, Psalms 125:1. Those who trust in the Lord are like Mount Zion. It cannot be moved. All right. It abides. All right. All right. This is the NIV version. It says, a song of ascents. Those who trust in the Lord are like Mount Zion, which cannot be shaken, but endures forever. Okay. Psalms 9:10. Those who know your name trust in you. For you, O Lord, have not forsaken those who me who seek you. Okay? And you know, for a lot of people, they see this truth as a come up, man. All right? They see it as a come up, all right? They see it as a popularity. It's high school again. All right. Nigga wasn't popular in high school, so here's the big chance. All right, to be popular among a big group of people. All right, but the only thing that's supposed to be popularized right now is the Lord. All right, Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, and his ministry. All right, and his and the message. All right, that's the only thing that's supposed to be popular. That's why you have the whole mess with these individuals. All right. Um, you know, these women, keep, something steady getting brought up with these women. All right. These men. All right. Because it's all about them. All right. At the end of the day, it's all about them. So, you know, uh, this is the NLT Psalms 9 and 10. It says, those who know your name trust in you, for you, O Lord, do not abandon those who search for you. All right. So you got people who telling you, you know, the name of the Lord is not important. It's not important. No one knows the name. Well, of course we know the name. Of course the name is known. All right. Of course it is. And that's why when the apostles and elders revealed the name, all right, um, things opened up. Okay, things opened up. The ball got to rolling. All right. Psalms 40:4. All right. Uh, blessed is, and this is the NIV version. All right, NIV. It says, blessed is the one who trusts in the Lord. Okay. A lot of you don't trust in the Lord. You trust in money. You trust in some form of security that you've secured because of money. And you're gonna understand that money has no power. All right. This man's money has no power. Okay. But to 2/3, only people that it does have power to really is to the 2/3. There's a lot going on with the 2/3. You got a lot of these celebrities who are in jail, who are in prison, who are facing lengthy time in prison. And here's the kick with that. You know, these people are so attached to money. Money is so much. You had to realize that people would a lot of people would do anything for money. They really will, man. They really, you don't know the depths that, listen, money is so serious that there are individuals who will literally unalive you for $1. Okay? Individuals will unalive you for $1, whether you believe it or not. Your life would be unalived for $1. Okay? And that's the power that Esau wields by this money. All right? And he knows that the money, okay, to Jake is that power. That's why he's trying to pry Jake away from the money. And so he's going to have to replace that money with this RFID chip, which is going to take some straight up super witchcraft. All right, it's going to have to perform a hocus pocus. All right, it's going to have to do a quick one. All right, when a baby's crying, you have to try to, you don't want to hear him cry, so you try to, you know, stop him from crying and give him something that, he wants something, but, you can't get what he wants right now. So you try to, give him something, whatever, just to make him shut up. All right. And so that's what Esau's going to do with this selling Jake this MOTB. Because Jake is going to want this MOTB. He's going to want it. All right. This is not going to be a thing that Jake is going to be denying. And now you see the Trumper, man. He's in other countries. They're dropping ordinances on other countries and lands. Okay, they're burning bridges. Okay, with people who they were once allies with, and now you got Germany. Okay, Germany is rearming for war with Russia. All right. No one wants the Germans. This is bad news everywhere. Okay. This is terrible news. Okay. This here is terrible news. You don't want the Germans. Okay. Because no one is like a teaming. Okay. In this, not in knowledge. All right. In ingenuity. Okay. Okay, you get American car, and then you get a German made car, and no matter how much you love an American car, all right, that German car is going to outperform it. Okay, because Americans have their thing is about they make shit. They break, they make it, make it again. You buy a different one next year, okay? And so most of what America has got, you see the stealth bomber, you see even the rockets, the missiles, all of that technology came from the Germans. So these are you don't want to see them rearming again, okay? They went to war with the world twice, okay? And even more than that, okay? These Germans, they like to fight, okay? The Polish, whatever you call them, Polacks, all right? Those people, those are war warlike Edomites. That's in their blood. Okay, and they're not cool with Russia. So they're not playing when it comes to they want revenge. They still want revenge on the Russians. Okay, because if it hadn't been for the Russians, then they would be in power, and they don't want to. They're pissed off at the Russians, and so their scientists were taken by the U.S. Some of their scientists were taken by Russia. Okay, to build uh, everything that you see. Okay, that's the Germans. All of the technology that you see comes from the Germans. All right, basically. All right. So here's this article. It says Germany is on track for a sharp increase in military spending that could equip a bigger Bundeswehr, the German military, with more armored vehicles, more air defense batteries, and more warships, more spy satellites, and critical technology. See, when they get to go into critical technology, see, they would have created a drone, all right, and they were already dealing with the Vril, all right, dealing with certain, witchcraft and entities, all right. When you look into the Germans, they had a lot of witchcraft going on. They was dealing with their left hand side real heavy. So those demons, was giving them technology, man. All right, and they use all their technology. They really use all of their technology for war. Okay, such as radars, radio jammers, and artificial intelligence. All right, the impetus behind the spending boost, hundreds of billions of dollars in two separate packages, is obvious. As the United States under President Donald Trump aligns more closely with Russian interest and leans on Ukraine to effectively surrender to Russian aggression. All right. Europe must achieve strategic independence. And here we go. All right. So, NATO, all right, the EU, okay, they're getting the hell away from this whore. Okay. They're getting away from this whore. So this whole bending over for the fucking Russians. All right. Fuck that hoe. All right. So that's what the EU is saying, man. Calling her a floozy. All right. Just from its one-time close ally across the Atlantic Ocean. German Chancellor-elect Friedrich Merz said, all right. And so, you can looking more into this, all right. The Germans, all right. Now they were not even supposed to have a military, okay, but now they've started back up with the military, okay. And it don't take much for the Germans to get the rolling shit out, to get the rolling out troops, all right, and dropping ordinances, all right, regulating shit, all right. Don't take much, okay, and places like Ukraine. See those Ukrainians, they're not a pushover either, man. Okay, and Russia knows this. Russia's like, look, listen, we not for none of that. We a old bear. Okay, We not for none of that fighting shit. We gonna up the blick, and that's gonna be it. All right, all right. Russia just gonna come with those nukes. They're not for any war. Okay, they're not for sending in foot soldiers, and they're not they're not for that. Okay, the Russians don't want that. Okay, they'll fight a war, but they're superpower. Okay, and so their thing is, if it comes to it, uh, uh, it's going to really go. It's going to really be a fight. All right. They don't want a slap box. They want a. They want a real. They're going to come with a real fight. Let me get the scripture. All right. And not only the Russians. All right. You know, these Houthis, Houthi Who's. All right, the Houthis. All right, they're in the Suez Canal. All right, and um, the American economy is tumbling. All right, uh, these billionaires are not able to get their their resources. Okay, because the Gulf of, what is it? The Gulf of Hormuz or whatever. Uh, you know, all of that is really these billionaires. All right, they're bringing in their, it was just the old spice routes. Okay, Esau is still using the routes that Jake created. Okay, uh, so as the scripture says, the Lord um, puts one up and one goes down. So we went down, all right. And at one point in time, we controlled those spice routes, all right. But again, through wars, all right. Yeah, the Arab, uh, uh, the sub-Saharan slave trade, all right. Where the Arabs and Africans went to war against, us, and you know ultimately that led into the transatlantic slave trade. All right. But, we, during that period of time, you read about Mansa Musa and all of these individuals. They were making all of their money from the Silk Road, all right, or the spice routes, all right. And so now these Edomites, okay, they have their boats, their ships, their freighters. Okay, that's why you Jakes, you'll never be rich, because you don't have barges and freights bringing in spices and goods from from the east. You don't have that, bringing in diamonds. All right, Jake. Once upon a time, Jake. Back when I was growing up, Jake had an understanding, and um, some Jake did. We had an understanding and knew that goods came in through through shipping lands, and so Jake would, what we would say, back in the early '80s, I mean late '80s, would break into the freights. All right, and then Esau started getting smart, started putting clothes on the freights, and so Jake stopped getting the valuable things, and started stealing clothes and guns instead. So, and so like things like watches, gold chains and things that Jake could have to run stores and stuff. Jake didn't bother with that. And you had a lot of people. You still got your fencers. Okay, look it up or look up what a fencer is. All right, and to roughly put it, it's an individual who buys. He may buy stolen merchandise. All right, he'll buy it for a certain price, and he'll sell it to someone else. All right, uh, for whatever price. Okay, he may get it for a cheaper price, but they're you got most fencers. They keep their they may have a home just for that merchandise. All right, just for that merchandise that they keep it. The police, the feds. Somebody get smart, like, oh, they got a lot of stuff there. The feds go in and get it. Okay, so the Houthis, all right, they're bombing these billionaires' shipments. They're boarding their ships. All right, the Somalian pirates, they're boarding these ships. So Esau is not able to steal. Okay, it's becoming hard for him to steal. And so now Trump has, they're bombing the Houthis now. Now the war is with the Houthis. All right, the Somalians and those people in that region. All right, because Esau has to be able to steal. That's what keeps him going. All right. So this is Joel 3 and let me see. Um, I could start at 1, but this is good. All right, this is right on point. Um, I'm gonna start at 7. No, 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 no. Um, yeah, I'll start at 7. I'm gonna jump around. This is Joel 3 and 7. It says, "Behold, I will raise them out of the place whither ye have sold them." All right, and will return your recompense upon your own head. All right, and this is going to happen to you, damn Edomites. So those people calling them, those 1948ers, those people calling themselves Jews, the J-men, all right, they hey, they're going to be in for a rude awakening. All right, they're going to be in for a rude awakening. Joel 3 and 8, and I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hands of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabians, to a people far off, for the Lord has spoken it. All right. And so if this is salvation, a lot of people say, oh, well, they're going to make it into the kingdom. Okay. You Edomites, all right. Your children are going into slavery. All right. So, you got people who want to call that salvation. Oh, yeah, they made it. They made it. They're going to make it. Okay, so if that's making it, then okay, there it is. All right. Verse 9, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men, all right? Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. And so we see the come up, all right? Iran, all right? These Houthis, the Somalians, those are mighty men. These are mighty countries, all right? Japan, all right? Those World War One and Two alliances, they're waking up, okay? Verse 10 says, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. All right. So that's what they're doing, man. All right. Germany is no longer sitting with his hands folded. Okay. These Houthis, these Arabs, okay, they're getting into the mix. Okay. China may be supplying them with, ordinances. Okay. Just like, America supplies people with ordinances, all right? They're supplying, okay? This is how wars, are fought, okay? It doesn't have to be U.S. and Russia head to head. The way that they're playing is China, because China is everywhere. They're just like the U.S. They're in all these countries. And so, hey, they supply with weapons, okay? And so you're gonna see and you're gonna see a war, okay? Fights are gonna break out, man. That's the way it goes. It says, let the weak say, I am strong. All right. And that's what these countries are now saying. Okay, that's what they're gonna say. They're gonna come up. Okay. Ukraine, all of these countries who the US, they're breaking their bond with, all right? So where I'm at 48. So that's already, I'm not going to go too far, but as you can read, Joel, on, okay? And these are the times that we are living in, and again, these are very promising, very promising to see uh, these things occurring, all right? For those of the faith. So, Lord willing, you were edified, and you've gotten some sort of insight, all right, from this prophecy. So things are happening. Things are going to speed up. All right, a lot of occurrences. The world is starting to get stirred up. So with that being said, till next time, Shalom.